I see you. Die hard. Trap. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard. Homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell a trophy, yeah, you need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gon' murder that.
Bang! What's good, guys? It's your boy Eru, host of the Knicks podcast. Yeah, man, I haven't done a pod yet to talk about the season, to talk about the playoffs, or anything having to do with this Miami Heat series. I think we done said enough on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm kind of like drained reading some of that stuff that people have been saying about our team and about how we did against Miami and this, that, and the other. And I'm getting drained by my coworkers and people that I know that keep hitting me out because I miss the Knick to my part of the world. I miss the Knick. So you get aggravated a little bit listening to what people are saying. Like everybody thinks they're comedians and stuff like that. But at the same time, the Knicks have done it was a successful season in the way that we made to the second round. We weren't supposed to. A lot of people had us not making the playoffs. Barely making the play in, that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So we actually made the playoffs outright. Had the 5th seed. And then we smoked the Cleveland Cavaliers where everybody said that they should beat us. Donovan Mitchell was going to kill us and XYZ, but we ended up smoking them. And then Miami Heat beat the Bucks, who nobody thought that was going to happen. And that team that beat the Bucks beat the Knicks. So I mean, if they're good enough to beat the Bucks, then why is it like such doom and gloom that the Knicks lost to Miami? Because they just beat the team that was supposed to come out the East. So obviously something's going on with Miami that they're just peaking, or they just playing such out of their mind team basketball that it just took teams off their square a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that before we get started here. But what made me do this trade here is that it's ridiculous. Let's just say that. Let's just put it up here. So it is ridiculous. This is Cat Karl-Anthony Towns. The question that FanDuel brings up, it says, should the Knicks and the Timberwolves make this trade for Karl-Anthony Towns? So let's click the trade. This is the exact trade for those that can't really see it. I don't know why I'm over here. Let's make myself bigger so you guys can see me. There you go. So on the left-hand side here, it says RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson. Of course, the first-round picks. When people put the first-round picks, they get so bent out of shape. My thing is the first-round picks, it's just hearsay. 3 first-round picks, 4, 2, whatever, second-round picks, pick swaps, and all that shit. All that is your imagination, and people get more jacked up because of that than anything. So anyway, for me, the draft picks don't mean much because it's just like what somebody's put in the trade. The players is what really matters in this position here. But for Karl-Anthony Towns and Taurean Prince, right? So my thing is, we just came off the playoffs, right? So I'll bring up that segue there. RJ Barrett had a really good playoffs. He had 3 bad games and he had a bunch of really good games, and he basically saved our first round, and he basically kept us in the second round for the most part. Julius Randle was hurt, you know what I'm saying? So you got to give him that. But I mean, the real steady person outside of Jalen Brunson was RJ Barrett. He actually played a really good 2-man. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of people are triggered to see RJ Barrett put in the trade there. But I'm just looking at the rest of the trade. Obi Toppin hasn't done shit for us, man. People want to trade Julius so bad that they're making Obi Toppin seem like he's better than he really is. You know what I'm saying? Obi Toppin, if he was in a different offense, if he was on a different team, My thing, if he was on a losing team, Obi Toppin will get more minutes and he probably will have more stats and stuff like that. But we will be a losing team. Mitchell Robinson was just complaining all year about him just getting cardio and he's not involved in the offense. But meanwhile, the guy has proven myself correct. The motherfucker can't make layups. He was making his free throws. I give him that. You know what I'm saying? But he can't shoot free throws to save his life because they try to do hack a Mitch, which was crazy. And he has no go to moves in the post or anything like that. You know what I'm trying to say? So we're trading a guy that's like basically trading two nobodies and RJ Barrett and a bunch of low draft picks. You know what I'm saying? So that's what everyone's up in roar about trading those assets for Karl-Anthony Towns and Torian Prince. Now the issue for me with the on the Knicks standpoint is not even the trade itself. It's before we get that, let's take a look at Karl Anthony's career stats. For his career, 23 points per game, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. You want to talk about field goal percentage, 52%. Talk about 3-point percentage, 39%, 83% from the free throw. Self-proclaimed best shooting big man in league history. If you look at his stats, uh, take a look at his 3 points attempted, 7 attempts 1 year, 6 attempts, five. Like for his career, he's averaging 4 attempts for his career, but at his peak, he was 7.9 attempts from three, and he was shooting 41% that year. I mean, he has a good argument for being one of the better shooting big men that ever played. 80 something percent from the free throws. I mean, come on, man. 2 point percentages is still above 500. So I mean, he has the numbers. He has the numbers. Stat wise, like I said, he topped off for 26.5. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the guy has the numbers. Like if he like retired right now, let's say, well, how many years he got in the league? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 8 years in the league, man. So I mean, if his career finished now, the dude can go to the Hall of Fame with these numbers. And that's not me being like whatever you want to say, a simp or somebody that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, or whatever casual, whatever guys like to say. I mean, the guy, has incredible numbers. Like I said, if he was to retire right now, he would go down as one of the best big men statistically in league history. You know what I'm saying? If he continues this pace where he just does his career averages 23 and 11. If he keeps doing that for like the next 4 years, you know what I'm saying? He literally will go down as one of the greatest big men to ever ever played a fucking game. Statistically wise, playoff wise, and all that's a different story. Whether or not he has heart or anything else like that, or he's just a goofy personality, is a whole different scenario within itself. But I mean, you can't sit here and lie and say that the guy is complete trash and the guy doesn't have the stats and things of that nature. So you can't lie and say that. One thing you can't lie about, as I scroll down all the way to the bottom here, because this is basketball reference. Everybody if should know what I'm getting at here. Is his actual salary. So if I can get to his salary here, it should be on the bottom of the screen. So this is his current contract there. Right now he's making 33 million. That's this season. The season's over. Next year he'll be making 36. Right now he's 27 years old. At the start of the season next year he'll be 28. At his 29th year, that's when his extension kicks in. So I mean, he signed an extension July 6, 2022. That extension doesn't kick in until 2024 season starts. He'll be 29 years old and he'll be making $49 million that year at age 29. That goes from 49. Look at the last year. It's a player option, but he's gonna accept that player option. $61 million in that player option. Like I said, he'll be 29, and when the extension kicks in, 30, 31, 30, he'll be 32 years old making $61 million. That, my friends and ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the conversation. Okay, I just was talking about stats and stuff like that. The stats that when I read the stats off, the stats is absolutely valid. So like I said, whether or not the guy has a drive and this, that, and the other, that's debatable as well. I particularly don't want him at all. You know what I'm saying? But just for the simple fact that he's soft. Shout out to my brother-in-law here. He put where's my reply? There it goes. Somebody else put it too. Look, no, this is actually my brother-in-law. This is the person that I went to the Knicks watch along at the Garden with, man. So shout out to Pat. But he put right here, Kobe, soft. That's what Karl-Anthony Towns is. At the same time too. Let me just show this too. this fight that he had with Embiid. So I mean, you call him soft, but he was willing to go in on this right here, man. He was really going at Embiid. Got Embiid on the floor, and then once everybody piled in, you could see Embiid try to get a cheap shot in there. I think he punched him in the head while he was on the floor. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we'll get to Embiid in a second because if you want to talk about soft players, I think Embiid is pretty soft too. You know what I'm saying? But in the same type of trade, fans seem to think that this trade that for Karl-Anthony Towns is not worth it. But they would trade the same package. They wouldn't even want to trade this same package for Joel Embiid. So what are we talking about here? Most fans are delusional at best. You know what I'm saying? And like, do we really want to get better, or we just are so infatuated with RJ Barrett and stuff like that? RJ Barrett and the potential of Obi and the quote unquote beast and how great defensively Mitch Robinson is. To me, it's all like a fictional thing because look at this Miami series. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to talk about the Miami series, but Mitchell Robinson was exposed for his lack of uh you know basketball IQ, lack of physicality. His rebounding and stuff like that was a fraud because they just pushed him over square. They didn't allow him to to really but people will keep going for the simple fact that but he has to keep covering for other people defensively. Man, that's bullshit. That is such a crock of shit. Because I mean, I just don't understand the level of excuses that these three particular players get every single time. Now listen, RJ, I give RJ all the props that he deserved, man. Because like I said that in the beginning of the pod, that he basically carried us, as a second fiddle to Jalen Brunson the entire playoffs. Julius Randle was the one that betrayed us this playoffs because of injury. I'll give him the excuse of injury, but nobody wants to give Julius the excuse of injury, but they want to give all these other guys excuses. I don't know, man. It's just, it's very frustrating. That's why I really don't want to cover it fully. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to get to the point where I'm whining and I'm just monologuing, and then people are going to be coming into the comments, coming at me because I'm going after these three particular players here. It's ridiculous to me. But what else I want to get into here? Uh, the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? They say mostly in these comments here, it's only Knicks fans. Knicks fans, like we got like the most fans in the world. So this is a FanDuel post. So most of the people replying here on these things are all Knicks fans. You can see the Knicks logos and stuff like that. They're mostly Knicks fans. So all the Knicks fans are like, hell no, this, that, and the other. This is embarrassing. Look at the media doing this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But from the Minnesota Timberwolves standpoint, how do they look at a trade like this? Getting RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. Here's a person that I would like to direct you guys to. This is Locked On Timberwolves, part of the Locked On Sports Network, whatever. So there's this guy, Ben Becken, whatever. I was listening to him on the way home today. I'm just listening to see what he had to say about this particular topic, the trading Karl-Anthony Towns to the Knicks per se. So him talking about certain players, he mentioned RJ Barrett. And he wants no part of RJ Barrett for the simple fact, like most people with common sense say, like RJ Barrett is a volume shooter. He gets shots. Sometimes he makes them, sometimes he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? He has no rhyme or reason how he makes or misses shots. These playoffs is probably like the best stretch of basketball he's had in his entire career. You know what I'm saying? So now you have to go by that. You know what I'm saying? But up until this point, 4 years in the NBA, the dude is basically just a volume scorer. He just is like he'll attempt 20 shots. One day he might get 30, next day he might get 12. You know what I'm saying? So and then he'll blow layups one day, and then next game he'll make all his layups. So it's like he's just like one of those guys. But we're not the only ones that see it. The people that are not fans of the team, they see it for what it really is because they're from the outside looking in. So this guy doesn't want no part of RJ Barrett, especially pairing him against what they have in Minnesota. Obi Toppin, he didn't even mention Obi Toppin. And around the league, nobody cares about Obi Toppin. Nobody believes in him. The people think that Obi Toppin is soft. You know what I'm saying? He's a three-point shooter, and then he doesn't do much else. He doesn't play a great defense. He's not physical at the position. They don't trust him as a power forward. This is what fans outside of the Knicks are saying about Obi Toppin. Mitchell Robinson, on the other hand, too, they recognize his defensive capabilities, but they all say the same thing too about Mitchell Robinson, that he lacks a basketball IQ. And how is he going to help you on the basketball court other than rebounding, blocking shots, and playing defense? And he's not even consistently good at that, and available too. People are starting to notice that he's always injury prone as well. So these things that we say and that we argue about on Knicks Twitter, in the NBA space, they all basically agree from the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying. So when we talk about trades like this, people automatically on the Knicks side say, "Hell no." But at the same time, too, man, outside of the contract, because the contract is what kills me. $60 million at the end of his career, right here, at the end of this contract, and when he's like 32, $60 million. That is the reason why this trade doesn't work. But if contracts were all even, let's say if he was making like 49, not 60. Let's say if he was making 49 at the end of the contract, then the trade is not that bad because we're talking about getting Karl-Anthony Towns and Torian Prince. Torian Prince would more than likely replace RJ as a small forward. He won't be somebody that's going to get the ball. He's going to be a 3-and-D guy. Somebody that's going to do the dirty work and stuff like that. Julius Randle will have to be reduced to that dirty work guy. He'll have to be RJ Barrett at that point, Julius Randle. Then Karl-Anthony Towns will have to be the second fiddle to Brunson. That's how we would have to work it. So on our side of the things, it works in that way. So my question was when I responded to this is what would be the next move? Because after we make a move like this to get Karl-Anthony Towns, we would need to make another move to go all in. Because you don't make a move by to get Karl-Anthony Towns and just sit on your feet, sit on your hands and wait to smell it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna need to make another trade in order to compound what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying? But let's take a look at the Minnesota Timberwolves roster. So I mean, they have Anthony Edwards. At this point, if they trade Karl-Anthony Towns, then Anthony Edwards is absolutely the number one. He's number one now anyway. You know what I'm saying? But if they get Obi Toppin's what? He's going to be the starting power forward for them. That's what they're doing? You know what I'm saying? And they have him listed as a shooting guard here. So is Anthony Edwards a shooting guard? And do you put him with RJ Barrett and think that's going to work? Most Minnesota Timberwolves fans, like I said, with this locked on Timberwolves guy, he absolutely wanted no parts of that. He doesn't think it's a good idea. The draft picks itself too. The Knicks draft picks are not, even though we have them, they're not necessarily the best picks. You know what I'm saying? So for a team that's trying to rebuild, they want the picks. It's not necessarily the players from Minnesota. That's essentially what he said in this podcast. That it doesn't really matter getting a star back for Karl-Anthony Towns. It's more about getting more value. So he wanted like a third team to get into the mix in order to fix that. There's like apparently like a gay parade going past my apartment right now. So I apologize for that. But no, I'm just looking at the roster. Like making that trade doesn't really help them. So they would need a third team in order to possibly get better picks and possibly get a player that they actually want to help them. And also too, Mitchell Robinson is in this trade. So I mean, how does it help getting Mitchell Robinson if they had Rudy Gobert? So right off the bat, Minnesota Timberwolves would be the first one when to say hell no for this trade because Minnesota, Mitchell Robinson and Rudy Gobert on the same team doesn't make any sense. So they would have to flip Mitchell Robinson to another team. And then like I said, also they don't want RJ Barrett at all. So they're gonna have to flip RJ Barrett to another team. So I mean, right off the bat, from the Knicks perspective, Knicks fans don't want this trade to be done. But guess what? The Minnesota Timberwolves will absolutely walk away from this trade. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get into this, right? This fight here with Joel Embiid. So Joel Embiid, they just lost in the playoffs, and the speculation now is that Karl-Anthony, Joel Embiid, all his people are here in New York, former agents and whatever. All the talk that Embiid has people here in with the Knicks and all the subliminal messages of him covering his face while he's talking to Brunson and while he's talking to Julius. They train with each other in the offseason. All the speculation, but this guy just won the MVP. He just won the MVP. So why would Philly, after just making barely beating Boston, why would they trade Joel Embiid to the Knicks? And what would the trade be? Would it be this trade here that we're talking about today? Would it be this trade? RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson. What trade could we make to get Joel Embiid here off of what the Knicks have? Are we trading Julius Randle to Philly? You know what I'm saying? We would have to trade Julius Randle and RJ Barrett over there to Philly because we're talking about a guy that just won the fucking MVP, the league MVP. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into Joel Embiid's stats for his career. 27.2 points per game for his career. 11.2 rebounds, man. 50% from the field, 33% from three. 81% from the free throw line. His stats are very similar to this guy, Karl-Anthony Towns. Last year, 33 points per game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. immaculate stats otherwise too, man. So 33 points and 10 rebounds, right? Let's talk about the blocks because Carl Anthony Towns gets a little over a block. I think Joel Embiid's blocks are a little bit better, or it might be. Let me see if I can get this. Oh, there you go. So he averaged 1.7 blocks last year. That's Joel Embiid. So 33 points per game. The year before that, he averaged 30. The year before that he averaged 28. So I mean, this guy is a bona fide like one of the best players in this era. So we're gonna trade one of the best players in this era, and then the Knicks are gonna talk about we're gonna trade RJ, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson and 3 first-round picks. Like, what are we talking about here? What would actually be the trade that would get Joel Embiid here? But like I said, people seem to think the Knicks are gonna be able to get Joel Embiid. That to me, that's ridiculous. The people around the NBA that watch the NBA and they make fun of us, of all these trades that we come up with. They make fun of us because we seem to, like I said, we seem to think we can get Joel Embiid. But at the same time, this Minnesota Timberwolves Wolves trade, like, everybody's like, oh hell no, this and the other. But let me tell you this. Like, I just finished talking about this guy here. He was talking about that it's not really about the players, per se. It's about the draft picks and possibly young guys. So what the person that he did say that they want obviously will be Emmanuel Quickly. Emmanuel Quickly will be the number one person that these Minnesota Timberwolves guys will want in a Karl-Anthony Towns trade. You know what I'm saying? The problem with that is that Emmanuel Quickly hasn't gotten his extension yet, and he makes peanuts right now. He's on a rookie deal. So how do we make this trade like we just we're quickly there. So one thing that we do have going for us right now is that we still have Fournier for $18 million, and we still got Derrick Rose for 14. Add those two guys to the mix with quickly. Add the draft picks on there. Maybe throw Obi Toppin in there as well as another young person. This guy did mention Quentin Grimes as somebody that you can throw in there. But both of those guys in his eyes is looked at as backup players. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, quickly Grimes, Obi Toppin with Fournier and Derrick Rose, and now add the 3 draft picks. Now you're talking about bringing Karl-Anthony Towns in here for basically nothing. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that you really care about, you do care about quickly, but quickly's replacement is on the roster with Josh Hart, and we got Grimes still. If we don't give up Grimes in a trade like that, we have the replacements on the roster already, and somebody at quickly's skill set, we can get that in a veteran kind of player, for like a not minimal salary, but minuscule salary, I would say. You know what I'm saying? So a trade like for Fournier, Rose, like I said, throw quickly in that deal, throw Obi in that deal, throw the 3 draft picks that you want to throw in there, and then trade that for Karl-Anthony Towns. Now it makes sense because now Minnesota has quickly to build around, which would be the prize for them. You know what I'm saying? Then you have Obi Toppin that they can see what they got with him. And then they got salary dump with Fournier and Rose, and then they got 3 draft picks. So that trade would make more sense to get Karl-Anthony Towns, and that's a trade that I would absolutely do. That trade I would do absolutely. But like I said, regardless if we make this trade, which is not a good one, but if we make a trade like I mentioned, like I said, one more time, IQ, Obi Toppin, Fournier, Rose. I'm not sure exactly if the salary matches and stuff like that. We might have to throw a Torian Prince or somebody else in there to make it work. But add those 3 draft picks in there too. Then that's a trade that I would make. But that can't be the last piece that we make in a trade like that. And I think Minnesota would be down for it. Because like I said, quickly would be the prize for them. Because he's somebody that could potentially be their starting point guard for the future to grow with Anthony Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Obi Toppin is his boy, so I could see Obi Toppin possibly his potential getting to where the people think that it could get to. Next to Anthony Edwards. So and then they also got Rudy Gobert at center. So that trade would make sense for them going forward to get some draft picks back from the Knicks. It makes sense for them. For the Knicks standpoint, we get Karl-Anthony Towns for basically nothing. We just basically traded quickly, for Karl-Anthony Towns. Draft picks aside and all that, but we're going for it. You know what I'm saying? So add Karl-Anthony Towns to RJ, to Julius, to Brunson. Now you got 4 guys. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Now you got 4 guys. So there you go. So anyway, I'm taking a look here. I know I'm ignoring you guys in the chat, man. I apologize for that. But shout out to Angel Torres. He says, let's get Giannis. See, that's another person that a lot of Knicks fans seem to think that we can get. I know you're probably just joking, but a lot of people seem to think we can get Giannis. Giannis is another guy that used to be a league MVP. How are we getting Giannis? They're not going to trade Giannis to the Knicks, for our garbage. They're not just not going to do it. Joel Embiid also, they're not trading Joel Embiid to the Knicks for our garbage. It's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And the Knicks are not so good that we can do that. But like, at the same time, if we get Karl-Anthony Towns here, like I said, for the minuscule trade that I'm talking about, once again, IQ, Obi Toppin, Fournier Rose, 3 draft picks. If we did that trade for Karl-Anthony Towns, then you can start talking about getting Giannis here, because now you could trade Karl-Anthony Towns, to Minnesota in a deal to get Giannis. Then you could trade Karl-Anthony Towns to Philly for Embiid in a package. You know what I'm saying? If you would like to do that. But we can't get there unless we get Joel Embiid, and I mean, excuse me, Karl-Anthony Towns here. So once again, like I said, Julius, Karl-Anthony Towns, RJ with Brunson, and then Quentin Grimes. Hopefully he grows into the player that we think he could be. Did we get better? Yes, we got better. But we definitely don't get better with this trade, though. This FanDuel trade. Um, you know, like I said, if we can get the talent of Carl Anthony Towns without trading RJ away, then then that works. But then you just deal with the $60 million, because right now we're going for it at that point. Yeah, man. So that's basically what I really, really, really wanted to get in with this trade here, because just watching it and just listening to looking at the comments and hearing people talk about it, at work and stuff like that, it's just ridiculous to me. Because listen, I agree, Karl Anthony Towns is soft, but adding him to the team without getting rid of any of our core guys, that's fantastic. That would be a fantastic move for us. Like I said, IQ, we would lose IQ. He will be the only important piece that we would lose in my scenario, my trade scenario that I'm bringing up. He will be the only person that we would lose. But at the same time, Josh Hart is here. Josh Hart is here, and then we still got Quentin Grimes. So we got two guys that are going to fill that two guard spot. You know what I'm saying? Torian Prince, if he's a part of this trade too, like I said, then we have Torian Prince coming off the bench backing up RJ. So that's great also. Then we're gonna get Jericho Sims back, and we still got Hartenstein. So then we still build up the physicality. We still have the shooting, we still have the scoring and the spacing now with Karl Anthony Towns on the team. So it makes more sense. That makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like talking out these trades and stuff like that. This is trade season, man. We're in the off season. Talking out these trades in this way is what we need to do, rather than sitting there and just throwing off these one line arguments here and on Twitter, and these bullshit arguments that we have out in public just for jokes and stuff like that. Like it's a little bit annoying, But just to actually look at the idea and really talk it through, then you can really make sense of what really makes sense and what really doesn't, man. So let me let me do this here too. I just looking at some of these guys here. Let's say if they get Obi Toppin in this deal, Kyle Anderson. Does Obi Toppin play over Carl Anderson? What's this guy's name? Naz Reid. Does Obi Toppin play over Naz Reid? You know, um, I don't know. Who else here? You got Nikhil Alexander Walker. Does Obi Toppin play over him? Who else? I mean, I'm just looking at the roster, just throwing it out there. Jalen Noel, you got Jaden McDaniels. Does Obi Toppin play over him? You know what I'm saying? Who else we got here? Some of these other guys too. Luca Garza is pretty good. Matt Ryan is decent. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Like we put our players on pedestals and stuff. But around the league, a lot of fans around the league and quote unquote experts and people that actually cover the other teams, they look at things a little bit different than how we do. So it's just worth throwing that out there. So anyway, let's take a look at what you guys are saying here. So quite a few people popped in the chat here. Shout out to Harlem CEO. I'm surprised Harlem CEO was like, hell yeah, they should do it, but it depends on the price. So I mean, the price that we talking about here, like I said, with the initial trade, not a good trade at all. Factor in the salary and stuff too. But the trade that I came up with, like I said, adding Fournier and Rose contract quickly, and Obi plus the 3 picks, that makes a little bit more sense for us, because then we will be going for it, because we'll be adding, like I said, adding a talent and Karl-Anthony Towns that for his career, once again, bring up his stats for his career. He's averaging 20 points per game, 8 rebounds, 4.8 assists. Last year, I mean, for his career, he's averaging 23, 23, 11, and 3. Last year he had a down year, 28 and 4, basically 5. You know what I'm saying? But even in a down year, 28 and basically 5 assists, that's fantastic to add him for nothing. Basically for nothing. That would be fantastic. That would be something that I absolutely would do. And if somebody's out there saying that they wouldn't do that, then I just don't know what's up. Because in the trade, I didn't give up Mitchell Robinson in my trade. So Mitchell Robinson is still on the squad. At that point, though, like I said, after we get Karl-Anthony Towns, we would have to make another trade. We could trade Mitchell Robinson. Maybe trade somebody else also. To get another player to help us out. That could be something that we can do. Trade Mitchell Robinson. 'Cause Mitchell Robinson probably has a market. For his defense and stuff like that. I say like a team like Minnesota, not Minnesota, a team like Golden State, a team like I don't know, like a team like Boston might be able to need the size, or who else? Miami probably could use the size, or some of these other teams out there, they can absolutely use the size and use the defense, for Mitchell Robinson. So trading Mitchell Robinson for a shooter, that's something that we might be able to do. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's just a compounded thing. So after we make a certain trade, then the domino will have to roll there with that. Let's take a look at Kerry Cox. What's good, Kerry Cox? He said, looking at Joel is a yes. Cat, hell no. Well, like I said, I pointed out with the Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is the league MVP. So how are we getting that? How are we getting Joel Embiid? Getting Joel Embiid will have to start with Julius Randle right off the bat. But for getting a league MVP, why would they trade us Joel Embiid for Julius Randle? Why would they do that? Because you can argue that Tobias Harris is just as good. For the way that the Knicks fans talk so badly about Julius Randle, then Tobias Harris and him are basically the same player. The way that people talk about him, and the playoff showing by Julius Randle says a lot too. Let me just make sure I say what's up to everybody. Got Knicks are nice is here. We got my man Kareem is here. What's good, Kareem? Eddie C is here listening in. I know Eddie C enjoys trade talks and stuff. What's good, Eddie C? Hope everything is good with you. Almighty Finesse was good, Almighty. Once again, I talked to Mr. Torres already. He said the cat has a bad contract. Yeah, man, that's $60 million in the last year is ridiculous, man. I don't know what Minnesota was thinking. See, that's the thing too. I want to mention too. Bring it back to Karl-Anthony Towns, and we slide down to his contract. Um, you know, like people want to talk about the Knicks, how the Knicks are so stupid. Throughout the course of Minnesota's existence, they have done some stupid ass moves, man. In this guy's podcast here, the locked on Timberwolves, he was talking about the Joe Smith thing. They did some illegal shit with Joe Smith where they lost multiple first round picks, over the course of like a long period of time during KG's reign when he was over there. You know what I'm saying? So so Minnesota has done so many stupid things. Shout out to Khan, because everybody always loves to joke about the Knicks. Oh, the Knicks could have drafted Steph Curry. No, they couldn't have, because Minnesota, they drafted 2 point guards that year, man. They drafted Johnny Flynn, and they drafted what's the guy? Rubio and Johnny Flynn back to back, fam. They drafted them back to back, and the Knicks ended up drafting a power forward. It threw them off because the Knicks thought that they're going to have their pick of Rubio, Johnny Flynn, or Steph Curry. It turns out Golden State Warriors with Don Nelson absolutely was going to draft Curry if he was available. That was his guy. That's the guy that he wanted. You know what I'm saying? So the Knicks had no shot at Curry because he was going to go to Golden State no matter what. But we should have been able to give Rubio, because Minnesota actually drafted Johnny Flynn first, and then they drafted Rubio in the very next pick, which is ridiculous. So if Minnesota ended up drafting Johnny Flynn, and then the guy that the Knicks drafted, which was that power forward from Arizona, if they would have drafted that, which would have been smart, then the Knicks would have had Rubio. And Rubio, we had D'Antoni at the time. You know what I'm saying? So that would have changed the course of history with the Knicks with that situation. But they always want to clown the Knicks about that draft. But the Minnesota Timberwolves are absolutely at fault for that. You know, they had KG over there, and they never was able to get a proper team around him. They had maybe a couple years where they actually thought they was going to do something. When Sam Cassell was there and Spreewell, they had their best chance. But those guys were old as fuck. And then they ended up trading KG over to Boston, and then immediately they won a championship that year in Boston. So I mean, what is the Minnesota Timberwolves doing right now with Karl-Anthony Towns? The rumors is real. The fire's out there. They're probably going to end up trading Karl-Anthony Towns at some point. Because why would you get Towns and this guy Rudy Gobert on the same team? Like they're both centers in today's NBA. It makes no sense. So they're probably going to end up trading Karl-Anthony Towns. You know what I'm saying? And then once they do that, now you set back their rebuild. You set back what they're trying to do, and they got Anthony Edwards there. So again, they're sabotaging themselves again. But every year the Knicks are the ones that get all the flame. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Shout out to JJ. Uh, this guy finesse said is a lot for cat. It is that it is a lot for cat. But at the same time, the Minnesota Timberwolves would not agree to that trade because they would have no use for RJ and they have no use for Obi or Mitchell Robinson. So I mean, it's not so like, oh, the Knicks would never do that. Yeah, but Minnesota Timberwolves would never do that either. So yeah, I don't know. Let me just keep scrolling here, make sure people that I didn't miss. Shout out to some names I haven't seen. This is Ray John Smith. What's good, my man? Who else we got here? Scrolling down, we got Chris Burks is here. He says Cat ain't gonna have a temper tantrum like Randall. Yeah, I get it. That's if you're swapping Cat for Randall, but at the same time too, you're gonna have to stick your finger in Cat's butt in order to get him to do something. So I don't know what this guy Joel Embiid did to him. But he was if you look at this, the ferocity that he had going at Embiid in this fight here, man. So Cat is not people call him soft and stuff like that, but he was mixing it up there. He was not look, he tried to throw a punch, he put him in a headlock, he slammed him to the ground. So listen, he's still a man. A lot of people act like these guys aren't men, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to talk shit about Julius all day long. You know what I'm saying? But these guys are men. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna like show up people like that without them fighting. So Karl-Anthony Towns, does have a mean streak to him. He's been hurt a lot. He lost his mother, stuff like that. So he's definitely going through a lot of shit in his life, man. He's 27 years old, entering the prime of his career. So maybe his best basketball is coming up. Even though he's had some great seasons. Like I said, I mentioned he averaged 26 one year. Has some really good seasons already. But he's entering his prime. So that's interesting. Shout out to De La Music, man. He says, I hear you on Mitch, but everything you say against him, I believe. Yeah, it's not necessarily a knock to Mitchell Robinson, but it's more of a knock because of the way people praise Mitchell Robinson day in and day out. They praise Mitchell Robinson like he can't do no wrong, like he's Patrick Ewing himself, or like he's Marcus Camby. He's not even on that level in no way, shape, or form. Because Marcus Camby, even though he couldn't score nothing either, but he was extremely smart. Marcus Camby was extremely smart. But Mitchell Robinson doesn't have that, and also too, he said it so many times that he does not want to play the way that the Knicks are asking him to play. He has no interest in playing that way. So so he's soft too. But if you say that, it's blasphemous, and especially with some of these bigger pods out there, like it's like they're afraid to say anything bad against certain people because they don't want the fan base to go against them. You know what I'm saying? So me, on the other hand, I don't give a shit about none of that stuff, man. I say it all the time. If you don't like what I'm saying, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? But I like to talk situations out. If somebody on here can convince me otherwise, then it's a whole different step. But you can't convince me after watching this series and stuff like that. You can't make up stuff that Mitchell Robinson was doing this, Mitchell Robinson was doing that when we clearly lost the series because he wasn't able to do the things that he normally does. And you can't put it that because he has to defend the paint for all these people, but that's his job. It's just crazy. Like Julius' job is to score. He didn't. You know what I'm saying? So he got to eat that. He got to eat all the flames. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, but here's the thing with Julius Randle, they expect Julius Randle to play defense. You know what I'm saying? But Julius Randle can't play defense. We know that. So why are we expecting Julius Randle to be this big time defender when he doesn't defend? But Mitchell Robinson, we're not asking him to score. All we asking him to do is defend and rebound, and he just totally did not do that in the Miami series. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Shout out to Fritz. Fritz is coming in here saying what's up. So Fritz is a part of the Nick of Time crew, man. So shout out to the Nick of Time crew. I've never been on this show, or whatever. Have I been on the panel with the main guy, which I keep forgetting his name. I think I might have been on a panel one time with him. You know what I'm saying? But his partner that he's been with, man. I got a bone to pick with him because he came out of nowhere on Twitter, and we've been had a good rapport with each other. And he come on Twitter talking about to say you don't know just something about don't know basketball, this that, and the-. Like, wow, man, people are really crazy with that. They love to attack you online just to big themselves up, and then he didn't even respond back to it. After I responded to it, so it is what it is, man. People are gonna do what they're gonna do. But shout out to the Nick of Time show. I think they do a good job over there. Shout out to Fitz and his affiliation with them. He said, "Why are we feeding the trolls? There are no rumors." I don't know about trolls, man. It's just a trade idea. I don't know about trolls. You know. So speaking of trolls, your boy's a fucking troll. Popping in my comments, trying to start some shit with me. You know what I'm saying? So that's a troll. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, uh, see who else I missed. Got Mr. Jackal here. Yeah, that's important too. I wanted to talk about Alex Burke. How great would Burke have been in this series, man? Because quickly wasn't able to do what he does, but what Alex Burke brought to the Knicks the time that he was here, he definitely was needed in these playoffs, man. I think if he was on the squad, we probably beat Miami. Just for his ability to create off the dribble and stuff like that. Quickly, like I said, he got hurt, and everything that he did for us off the bench, six man of the year, everybody was crying that he didn't get it, but he showed in the playoffs that he didn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, shout out to Alec Burke, man. That's like a really good fun side conversation to have there. Let me see. Did you see Obi's second summer league season when he wanted to I keep run the team? Yeah, yeah, I don't think so either, man. Obi Toppin, he's definitely got a lot of development to do. He's way behind the eight ball. The 3-point shot is nice. He's either wet or completely off. Him driving to the basket is not strong enough. His handle needs to be improved. He got to get stronger. That guy got to do something more than doing bands in the fucking gym. He's gonna have to lift some real heavy weight to get his weight up out there and get nastier. He definitely got to get nastier on the rebounding tip, on the defense tip. You got to get nastier, and to get some physicality and actually want the contact and finish strong. He's got to figure all that stuff out. Do we have time to wait for that? With Brunson at his age? Because Brunson's up there in age. So are we gonna wait till Brunson is 32 years old for Obi Toppin to finally figure it out? It's like, that's another situation that we got to worry about. So so this is interesting too. That is a terrible lineup. Brunson, RJ, Randall, and Towns. I get it, you know what I'm saying? But for Brunson, the problem with Miami with the Knicks is the Knicks had no spacing. You know what I'm saying? Having Towns come out, on the perimeter, being able to shoot the three, that opens the perimeter, the interior there for Julius to get busy, and it opens up the interior for Brunson to get busy. Also, Towns will be able to get the kick out pass there for three. So it works spacing wise. You know what I'm saying? Defensive wise and rotating and that type of thing, that's probably going to be the biggest issue for the Knicks. That's why you keep Hartenstein around. That's why Torian Prince will be helpful too. So and also Josh Hart is still on the roster, that type of thing. So I mean, you could work around it, but I mean, like I said, this is legit because like I said, offensive wise, it definitely will help us out, but defensively and stuff like that, it's definitely probably going to mess us up a little bit. But at the same time too, Karl-Anthony Towns can rebound. Mitchell Robinson has yet to average 10 rebounds per game in his career, right? Karl-Anthony Towns has basically done his entire career. Injury aside, the guy's been able to get double figure rebounds in his career. So the guy rebounds the ball. You know what I'm saying? So we should be able to rebound. We should be able to compete rebounding wise. Karl-Anthony Towns still can get a block or so a game. So he'll be able to do that. But intimidating wise, we don't have an intimidator. But Mitchell Robinson, how much of an intimidator was he? Outside of blocking shots and that type of thing, when he's doing it, is great. But what Miami was doing to us, Miami wasn't blocking shots. Miami wasn't really doing that type of thing, but they were extremely physical, like physical wise, boxing out, pushing guys, elbowing guys, doing everything physically, to impact the game. Mitchell Robinson can't do that. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the will to do it either because he doesn't want to have that role. He wants a different role. So the guy naturally doesn't want to do that. So that's something that's interesting also. Shout out to Max Cali. What's good, man? He said, Bucks without Giannis is not the Bucks anymore. They would never they would never do that. Same thing with Philly. Why would Philly trade Embiid? Why would they trade Embiid unless he asks for a trade? And then how would they ever get proper value for a dude that's a league MVP? How would they ever get proper value? And they would never trade him to Philly. They would never trade him to the Knicks, you know, for what we have. The Knicks will have to give up everybody for Embiid. Like I said, I just don't think that we're ready for that. A team like Philly, I could see them going all out to get this guy Dame over there. So shout out to that. Dame and Embiid on the same squad. I don't know if that works, but I think Philly is more inclined to do something like that, trying to get another player in Philly, to help Embiid win. You know what I'm saying? Not trading Embiid. I don't think they ever would trade Embiid, to tell you the truth. I think, unless he really asked for a trade and said I want it out and made a big stink about it, that's the only way that he would get off that squad. You know what I'm saying? But I could see Philly going for it and trading everything, to get Dame over there in Philly. That would be interesting, to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? See, Max, he says, I'm expecting the Raptors to make everybody available for. Hey, that's another one too. Shout out to Toronto. I could see Toronto trading, any of their guys for Embiid. You know, I don't know. Even Minnesota, I could see Minnesota making that trade for Karl-Anthony Towns to get some of the guys that they have over there in Toronto. That's interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the Raptors, that dude, I can't think of money's name there, but I mean, like I said, they have plenty of guys that play defense and stuff like that. A lot of good team players there. They haven't been able to get over the hump ever since they lost Kawhi and stuff. They haven't been able to really get much better. So I could totally see them trading everything. So that's another whole nother pod right there with Toronto to trade some of their guys over there to the Knicks. We'll be able to do that. RJ would definitely be one of those guys that we would have to get out of there. Because I think that the key to the Knicks winning a championship is to double down on this physicality and really get crazy with that, and really get back to the old school defense thing, and that would shift the NBA. Because right now the Miami Heat is showing everybody what it is like to play good physical team basketball, and so if we can do that and match that, that would be really interesting, man. Toronto could use Mitch, yeah, but Toronto center's pretty good too. The guy that they got from San Antonio, did they get it from San Antonio? Yeah, man, they got a decent center over there already that's playing really well for them. You know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting to see what they do over there. Uh, here goes JJ. He agrees me with Mitch here. He says, I'm done with Mitch. Year 5. Yeah, year 5. Year 5, like I said, the guy's still complaining about cardio. He's still complaining, yeah, man, I gotta keep covering for guys every play. He threw his team under the bus, but nobody said anything about it. But they want to talk about Julius Randle saying that Miami Heat wants it more, but literally, Mitchell Robinson said that he has to cover for his team, basically throw his team under the bus. But people that want to agree with that, and they want to cover for Mitch, but they want to completely condemn Julius Randle no matter what. So even to the point where he's kissing his wife, man. Shout out to Kmart. I got something to say about that too, man. But like I said, I'm trying to let all that stuff just go, because I don't want to come on my channel and keep telling people to suck my dick every 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to say it for so many different things, man. But I can't keep throwing myself out there, inviting people to the hot dog stand every time I get mad about something, man. So, that's how I'm on the lines of that thing with a lot of these little topics that people have been talking about ever since we lost against Miami. This is a cool name here. Shout out to Rapper Stone. He said, "Why Randall gets so much hate when he was our only All Star?" It's the whole body language thing. People can't get past it. People can't get past the body language thing. At the same time, Randall's body language and his nastiness is what makes him important for the Knicks. His nastiness is what makes him important. Like I said, if we get a Karl-Anthony Towns here, then Julius Randle's role is reduced. So then he can be that nasty guy. And then Karl-Anthony Towns, you run the offense through Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, and let Julius Randle handle the rebounding. Let him handle the dirty work. Let him do the dirty work stuff. Excuse me. Let him be the enforcer. Let him be the asshole, that type of thing. Let him focus on that. Now you have a player. Now the body language, the nasty body language, would make more sense because he's not the head of the offense anymore. Brunson now is the star, and then you will have Karl-Anthony Towns as a second tier person. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, in the trade that I made, I didn't give up RJ in that trade that I made. You know what I'm saying? So, so then RJ, I mean, Julius and Randle will be even further down the totem pole, in that scenario, and it really puts him in that role where he can be that asshole, and it will actually be beneficial to us. You know what I'm saying? Because now, if it comes down to it, now you can actually bench Randle sometimes, and then just have RJ out there, RJ with Josh Hart, and now you could win with that because now you got Karl-Anthony Towns out there, to cover the offense. See, you see how that works? You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, back again, just to remind people what I was saying. IQ Obi, right, with Fournier and Rose, and plus the 3 draft picks for Karl-Anthony Towns. You know what I'm saying? So in that scenario, when Julius Randle was on that bullshit, now you could bench him because you don't need him now because Karl-Anthony Towns can cover the offense. RJ Barrett is out there; he could play power forward, and Josh Hart helps out with rebounding. You know what I'm saying? You got Brunson out there, and then you got my man Grimes. You know, so now you have a lineup that you can roll with if Julius Randle is on that bullshit. You know, same thing. If Towns is on his not really asserting himself, you can make changes that way too. If RG's not playing well, you can make adjustments too with that too. So adding that extra scorer there would definitely be crazy. I don't understand why people wouldn't want that. Now I get it. The trading RJ, Obi, and Mitch for Carl Towns, totally stupid. But you know, like I said, the other way, the other trade that I made, that makes a lot more sense than that. So shout out to Knicks Planet Podcast was good. Yet another podcast from somebody. So many Nick podcasts out there, man. But shout out to everybody. Like I said, I always tell people if you don't like what I'm saying, get the fuck out of here. So if you don't like what I'm saying, go check out and see what Nick's Planet Podcast is saying. I never seen him a day in my life, but if you got a podcast, go check him out. See if you like what he's saying. You get what I'm trying to say? It doesn't hurt me nothing because not like I'm getting millions of dollars here, and I'll never be the guy that's going to be out here clapping my cheeks, trying to I don't know, trying to do whatever everyone else is doing. You'll never see me doing that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AC. Do I think Hart? Yeah, I think absolutely he's coming back. I don't think you can let a player like that go. You know, him being relied to score on, I think is an issue. You know, but like I said, if he continue to build a roster, then we won't have to worry about him scoring per se. You know, but just everything he brings, he's an incredible finisher at the rim, very strong, incredible rebounder. He can hit the three. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, he's a ball mover. He's very passive, looking for his own shot. But like I said, he fits the role perfectly, man. He definitely fills a lot of holes for us coming off that bench. You know, the issue is we need to fill out the holes in the starting guys. You know, and then, you know, that way we won't have to have to rely on Josh to do so much. That's the issue with that. You know what I'm saying? So I think we absolutely need to bring Josh back. But like I said, like if you make a trade, like I mentioned, like I said, I got to keep saying it. It's IQ, Obi, you know, what I'm saying Fournier and Rose and 3 draft picks. Not saying that's going to happen, but like I said, a trade like that, you know, you make that trade, then you sign Josh Hart, and then now you got something to play with there. But like I said, even after that trade, you still have to move Mitch probably, you know, because I didn't trade Mitch in that trade. You have to take Mitch and trade him possibly for another shooter or a veteran point guard or something like that, or just veteran point guard would definitely have to be in the mix there to have somebody coming off the bench to give Brunson a proper rest. You know what I'm saying? I think that's essential too. That's very essential for next year. You know, especially if IQ is going to be the guy that's going to be traded. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to did I put him up there? Yeah, just make sure put you up there, Julian. Julian's one of my guys too, man. Tibbs is another one. Tibbs is something I'm going to talk about too, man. So just want to make sure I say what's up to man. So this is my man Kenny Payne. He said I enjoy listening to the opposite viewpoints, especially those in the chat. Even when we're yeah, man, that's my thing. Let me tell you something. I'll end it like this because there's a lot of comments coming in now. I love the Knicks so much, man. I love basketball so much. That's why I'm doing this podcast. I did the podcast because 2018, for those that I know, I almost died twice. 2018. And that's what made me finally decide to do a podcast, is to let it go and start doing podcasts and stuff. But you know, I made a point to do a podcast the way that I want to do it. So I mean, you know, I got to shout out my man again one more time from the Locked On Sports Network. This is Locked On Timberwolves. The style of podcast that those guys do over there on the Locked On Network. You know, I don't want to ever do a podcast like that. You know what I'm saying? If I happen to get an opportunity where I'm working for a network and they want me to be that way, I can be that way. You know, but as long as I'm doing my channel, I'm going to be as loose as possible. I'm not going to sit here and change my voice and start talking like this. Hey guys, welcome to another podcast. Blah blah blah. You know, no, I'm not ever going to do that. You know, I could joke around and stuff like that. And I can play the news guy. You know, if you want me to, I could put on a nice shirt. I can have the whole song and dance there. But that's not my. I would never want to do it. I want to keep this as loose as possible, as free as possible, as real as possible, and I want to be as transparent on my end as possible, as long as I'm doing this on my channel. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm coming from with this. And me, like when I see people give viewpoints, I can't wait to get the viewpoint because I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty for real basketball conversations. You know what I'm saying? That I love it. I'm so thirsty for real basketball conversations. Shout out to De La Music, man. One of my favorite guys, man. I got a chance to hang out with De La so many times, man, in Washington, D.C. and in the garden, sat next to him during games and stuff like that, drank with him, ate with him, stuff like that. Nick fan, man, super Nick fan. So this is my dream to meet real Nick fans where De La Music can have something to say to me and he can vent off and I'm just gonna let he'll just be in a safe place. Same thing with me too. I can vent and whatever and just chill and just be in a safe place around like-minded people and just really enjoy time with each other. That's what I want because like I said, I almost died in 2018. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so thirsty to really make connections with people with like-minded views and just so we can just enjoy time on this earth. Because this time that you have on this earth is not it's not promised, fam. It's not promised. I'm trying to tell you, I literally almost died twice. I almost died twice in 2018. You know what I'm saying? This life is not promised. I keep trying to tell my wife that. I keep trying to tell family members that. I tell my coworkers all the time with the bullshit they always want to tell me. Everybody always got a problem. You know what I'm saying? But the issue with people that people have out there is literally could be solved if they would just listen to themselves and be true to themselves and really accept who they are. People don't want to accept who they are. They want to be something else. And they're not happy. They're not pleased with themselves. Most people aren't pleased with themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's true. Before this, everybody goes through whatever. But there's been times in my life where I was not pleased with myself. At this a particular juncture, I'm pleased with myself. One thing I need to do, I need to lose weight. But at the same time, I like to eat food, so I'm having a great time eating right now. So listen, but at the same time, too, I don't know if you guys notice, I've been putting on a lot of muscle and whatever, man. So I gotta start losing weight because I'm starting to get too heavy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm having a great time. I'm really enjoying myself. This podcast has been a great outlet for me. Like I said, meeting Dale, shout out to Mike K too. My man Mike Doc. I call him Mike Doctor. He says he gives a $2 super chat as well. He says Randall plus the Bucks pick for Zion. I like Mike too. Mike is funny. Mike always got like crazy trade ideas. Hits me up privately to send me stuff. Sends me in state stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's what I long for these things, man. Just so we can have these conversations. It doesn't always have to be content. You know what I'm saying? So I just leave you guys with that, man. For all the stuff that people would say, oh, just say you don't know basketball, of all that bullshit, man. It don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. So life is too short for that bullshit. Like the life is about making connections. Life is about sharing time with each other. Life is about listening to each other. You know what I'm saying? Being there for each other, and besides all of that, being there for yourself, listening to yourself. Improving yourself, and just being real with yourself. That's what it's all about, man. That's what to me. That's what life is all about. And I think sports is a great example for that. Good parallel to it, and it is what it is, man. So we got somebody named Steven here. What's good, Steven? He says so I'll leave it with Steven, man. So Steven says first of all, establish your core. Brunson is clearly their best player. Absolutely. It was a good season, but if they want more, they have to make trades. Yeah, Randall is obviously is an obvious piece, but he's not the only one. Yeah, you're right. Right, you're right there. Listen, we right there. We're right there. The issue that I'm having with people is that they take things so personally, like Julius Randle stuff. Everything going on with Julius Randle. I get it. Julius Randle earned everything. He earned it all. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we have to continue to build this roster. Julius Randle has a great contract. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have a super max. He should be making like 30 something million dollars, but he won't be. He's not even the highest paid player on the team. RJ literally is the highest paid player on the team right now. Brunson's contract's actually going to be descending. So at the end of Brunson's contract, Brunson will never be the highest paid Nick, at least on this contract. During his prime years, he will never be the top paid Nick. You know what I'm saying? So we have guys that are on extremely great contracts. You know what I'm saying? So right now is the time to go for it. Right now is the time to go for. You have a small window, and the best way to get better is to make trades. And like I said, I don't think trading Julius Randle is a good idea. The good idea is to change his role. Like I said, if we get another player here that's really good, like Karl-Anthony Towns is good. If we can get Karl-Anthony Towns here without trading any of our main guys, then now you reduce Julius Randle's role, and I think that's important. We got to get the ball out of Julius Randle's hand, trying to create shots. We just got to stop it. Karl-Anthony Towns, if he was in the same position as Julius, he probably would get the bucket more times than not, especially in the playoff situation. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that is what it is there, man. I keep saying I want to get out of here, but this is my first moderator here, so I got to say what's up to Ill Matrix. He said you do a good job, you. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Everybody has their own thing, So I really appreciate you guys for supporting all the time. So anyway, it's off season time, baby. You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be a lot more pods and stuff. I really enjoy talking sports, talking about different scenarios and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed the playoffs this year. I got a chance to go to a lot of watch-alongs, got a chance to spend a lot of quality time with my sister, got a chance to spend some quality time with my brother-in-law, got a chance to go out and hang out with so many of my guys here, like De La Music and Harlem CEO and everybody else. I got a chance to meet so many people that I haven't met, that I've never met before, that I've not fans of the channel, guys that I interact with online on Instagram and stuff like that. I met a few people on there. I can't get the name right now, but I got the face. I'm thinking about you, for those, and for the person that's listen, I can't get your name right now, but I'm thinking about you. So I'm projecting that out to you. We got a chance to meet each other at the bar and stuff. Those are all important things, man. So I think all those engagements and stuff like that was more important than actually putting content out on the channel. So anyway, I'm at an hour right now, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you guys for tuning in. For those that are popping on here, I see more people popping here at the end. Please watch the watch along on this podcast just so you can get the whole gist of everything that I was talking about, and then get to the end, and then you'll see the whole picture come together here. So shout out to Nick Muse here. This is Nick Muse on with the I Heart New York t-shirt. Shout out to them. Check out Nick Muse. Go to their page and check out their merch. They have really good merch there. Please follow on Twitter and stuff like that. Also go to DireKnicks.com. That got merch there too. Check some of that stuff out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. And I see you guys next time, man. You might see me tomorrow. I got a bunch of stuff I need to get off my chest about the Knicks and things of that nature, man. So look out for me possibly in the afternoon. You might see me in the afternoon on this channel, getting busy, man. So I see you guys soon. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody that's gonna pop in to check out the channel on the replay. And I see you guys on the flip side, man. Peace. Enjoy the outro.
Eru, I see you. Die hard. Trap. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard, homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell a trophy, yeah, you need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gon' murder